And I would say the best part of it is that you can sit comfortably and either use this tiny screen, which I don't, because it's too small, but you can sit comfortably, having your back straight, your neck straight, and do this. This is a great thing about this though. Hello friends, welcome back to the bench. Today we're going to take a look at the digital microscope, JOYALENS JL246MS, 7-inch LCD digital microscope, and we're going to perform a simple repair that anyone can attempt on reflashing BIOS on Microsoft Surface. And of this particular one, for some reason, it won't boot from USB. It doesn't have a password on the on BIOS, but for some reason, it won't boot. It won't boot from USB. So I'm thinking the only thing that I can do is reflash the BIOS. Now, procedure is pretty simple, but in my view, you do need a microscope to do it. I mean, probably you could do it with the head loop that I have over here, something like this. And I've done tons of repairs using devices like these. Better than nothing, but ever since I started doing actual component level repairs on the motherboards and stuff like that, I don't see that being viable to do it without the microscope. Especially since you do have to inspect after soldering, and you have to inspect a lot of stuff on the board, and just the simple head magnifier is, in my view, not enough. So you need some kind of microscope. However, the microscope I'm using, which passes as a professional microscope, um, well, first of all, it's big, it's heavy. It uses real optics, so when I look at the board, I use the actual optics, not the digital image. However, what you see is the digital image through one of the oculars, and so your angle is different than my angle because they kind of converge like this. Um, so that's point number one. So I'm seeing what I'm working on, but you can't see it, right? It's cut in on your screen. Second, the focus, right? The camera needs to be at the correct distance um, for you to have focus when I have focus, right? And oftentimes I see my videos like, a few minutes of the video is out of focus because I've been looking through the ocular, and I didn't notice that there was no focus for the camera. So this product kind of addresses that, because I'll always be seeing what you're seeing, be it on the my big monitor or the included 7-inch LCD. 7-inch LCD, in my view, is a little small. They do also have a 10-inch, and I wish they had sent me the 10-inch. That's what I imagine. You always, for the review, you send your best, right? Not mediocre. Well, for some reason, they sent me a smaller one. Let's see how much of a difference it makes. Um, but it definitely addresses all those issues that I mentioned using the professional microscope. The only other um, pro of the real microscope is that, well, we'll see how different it'll be from this one. But basically, I have a lot of freedom where to move the microscope, so I can move it outside of the bench, so I can hold some bigger item, like inspecting the HDMI port on PlayStation, right? I need to keep it outside of the desk because obviously the distance between the lens and the focus point is too small to put anything bigger there. This is probably not something that we can do with this one, but let's take a look. The only way this device is useful to you is that it can get the job done. So let's fix the surface and use this microscope. What do we have here? Printing industry, textile industry, industrial inspection, PCB inspection, etc. Product application. Okay, the scope is $150 on Amazon and closer to $200 on eBay for the 7-inch version. The 10-inch version is about $200 on Amazon and about $300 on eBay. So it's relatively affordable. Look at the packaging here. Let's see. Very nice. Okay, we have step-by-step instructions on how to put it together. That's very nice. Then we have more detailed instructions here. Remote. We have USB output and HDMI output. I'm going to be using HDMI. So I normally never used instructions. My view is that the device should be built in a way that someone like me can put it together and use it without reading through documentation of how to use it. It should be user friendly, intuitive. Packaging, awesome. Oh. Okay, those are 7-inch display. And here's the microscope. There's SD at HDMI. Yes, it is. Or maybe it's a kind of small HDMI. USB micro. Oh, that's not good. Come on. Who uses micro? Such an awful port. Let's keep digging. Okay, so this appears to be a light that shines from the bottom for biological observation. not gonna be useful to me. Probably the same with the remote. This is something we don't know what it is. 2 screws, AC/DC adapter, 2 amps, 10 watts. Okay. Now there are some biological samples. Maybe we'll take a look at it, but what do I know about biology? We have 32 gigs of SSD. That's a useful thing. That's our USB cable. Oh, it comes with an HDMI cable. Very nice. However, it's probably way too short. So this is some kind of mini HDMI, right? It's not the full size HDMI. So that kind of sucks. And why does it suck? Because this cable is pretty short. I'm not sure if I'll be able to connect it. So my idea was that I would just disconnect my current camera and connect this one, but that's not gonna happen. That's fine. Here we have lenses. This one, object distance 90 millimeters to 300 millimeters, 30 centimeters. That's about this much. That's very good. That's awesome, because the focus uh, distance on this scope, on my big scope, is relatively small, so that sometimes is an issue. And we have a stand. It is metal. Okay, it is metal, and it comes with an anti-glare light. So, what is anti-glare light? It's basically just a light fixed at an angle, and preferably two of them. That's what anti-glare light is. I don't know why some companies charge like huge money for anti-glare light, because it's anti-glare light, but in reality, it's just an LED light. You don't need a fancy anti-glare light. Just any light that you can put at a fixed angle, as opposed to the ring light. Ring light will give you a lot of reflections, but that's also something that you might need. Okay, so this should go here probably. Nope. No, no, doesn't fit. Is the left turn? I'll look at the instructions. Manual, but there's no other parts that I see here. No, just it does not fit. Huh? Did not expect that. And this goes here. Yeah, it makes sense. It makes sense that it works this way. Oh, that's crappy, but maybe. Oh, yeah, okay, maybe it's not too bad. But what good is it if I can put this on? Damaged? Oh, no, damaged. Is that the right turn? It doesn't cut the thread. Yeah. Okay, let's return to the manual. Okay, well, that's what I'm doing. You put this here and you screw it in. Assemble 4 to 2. That's too bad. Hmm. Yeah. Well, what else am I doing? It looks like just really crappy. If I grab it with a metal, I'm gonna damage this. What a crap. Let's let it. If I can see some paper on it. There you go. Okay. So, okay, it's not parallel. All right, it's tilts to the back a little. I have this size here. 13 small stuff, small stuff. Okay, well, not the best metal work, but I don't know. Let's see how it actually performs. Okay. Very flimsy, but it's very light aluminum, so it's to be expected. Okay, let's put it on. This is really light. Oh, very light. Let me put it on. Let's get these off. Okay, so that's lens A12 to 320. Okay, let's lock this one in place. Okay, since this part is really light, right, it actually feels pretty good. Um, it's not as flimsy once this is installed. And okay, it just cannot turn. So once you set it in place, oh, even if you loosen the nuts over here, it's still fixed in place. Well, that's fine. Okay. Now, okay, let's just move it here for now, let's turn it on. See what it does. So this is our power. Okay, the length of the cable is very sufficient. Very happy about that. Too bad the HDMI cable is not as long, but what are you gonna do? Okay, we have two thingies. Where does it? Oh, God. Okay, so USB micro is our power. And this, I assume, goes to this lamp. Yeah. Okay. Okay. 32 gig SD card. I don't think we're gonna need it. So, well, this one was installed, so let's test with this one. Okay, let's go. Let's connect the 18 on. That's pretty snappy. Okay, I'll just leave it like this for now because I will have to stop the recording to switch to this camera. So first, let's see if it even works before I put any more effort into it. Okay, we have something. Let's find. It's too low. Okay, looking at it here, the image is actually very nice, very sharp. Looks a lot better than I expected. Okay, so the scope works. Now, how do we turn on the light? Oops, not like this. Okay, so this also turns on the scope. And the light we have plus and minus. And the light. Oh, okay. I see what I did wrong now. Okay, light connects at the back over here. There you go. And our lighting. Very nice. Yeah, the display is definitely too small for me. I think I would be happy with the 10-inch, so it would be this much bigger. That would be more beneficial to my old eyes. Okay, so now looks like we're not gonna need this. Um, the lens is sufficient for the zoom. Can I adjust zoom over here? No, but if I move further, oh, okay. All right, so I can move closer and further and use this for focus. So this is not something that my microscope has. I do have zoom, but then if you zoom in um, with this knob, and then you need to adjust the height, so there's no focus per se. Right, this one technically has this focus, so I can move closer if I need higher magnification and adjust the zoom or adjust the focus. Okay, there's plenty of backlash. See, you don't feel it when you move the focus. You don't feel the backlash. It feels smooth, but there is in fact plenty of backlash on it. And this is something that I actually expected. Yeah, I feel like this is going to be so annoying because once you went too far, right, now you need to move a few turns back before you start readjusting in the other direction. So if you overshoot it, that's not good. But, always consider what price you get it at. For 150 bucks, this is actually pretty impressive. What are these and what are they for? I don't care. And this, I also don't know what it is. We don't need this or this or the remote. Alrighty, now let's hook it up and see what we can do. Alrighty, so the scope is hooked up. Few considerations here. First of all, starting with the negative, the stand is not practical for my use, although I see it being very practical for phone repair and not for big boards or even a laptop like this. Because you're kind of restricted to that little area over here. Um, you know, um, if you put the laptop, just wobbly, and there's no way I can maneuver um, the big boards like PlayStation 5 or even PS4, and because they're just too big. It's gonna keep bumping here. So that is first thing that I will need to address, modify the stand or use the actual real stand on it. But for that we will need a adapter. And I know the adapters like that are available. I know Alex from Northridge Fix uses the camera much like this one, with an adapter on this kind of stand. So that would be a lot better if I could attach it to that stand. But that's not a problem at the moment. The best part of it is, actually there's plenty of good parts of it. Look how much we can see. We can see huge area. So that is perfect for inspection and for working on big chips. I can see the entire fan, which I cannot on my other scope. I'm restricted to area basically as much as this, right? This would be my area of operation. And now I can see like a lot. Let's see the FPS. FPS is actually pretty good. There's a slight delay. That's to be expected. This might not be the problem of the device. This might be my capture device that has a slight delay. There's definitely some delay from the device itself because it needs to process each image and then send it, encode it, send it. So there's gonna be some kind of delay. It's nothing that would, yeah, it's all right. It's nothing that would bother me. Take a look at this though. So now the distance between the scope and the board is 23 centimeters, 9 inches. That's huge. Why is that important? To me, it is because oftentimes I need to use a solder socket, which works best if you put it like this, parallel to the surface. If you use it at the angle, your suction power is a lot smaller, and in some cases you can't clean the via, especially when you work on HDMI port and those big ground vias that need to be cleaned. You need to put it exactly on the hole so you can suck all the solder off. And so this is definitely a good thing about it, because normally I look through the microscope, I heat up the solder. Once I see that it's flowing, then I move the microscope out of my way, and then I use the solder sucker. So this microscope allows me to desolder stuff with a solder sucker without moving the microscope. That is definitely a big plus of this one, and the area that I see. Now, interestingly, the backlash is gone when we're working at this distance. When I move the camera closer to the board to get higher magnification, that's when the huge backlash comes into play. So if you work at this magnification, there's basically no backlash. So that is definitely great, great news, because that backlash is definitely annoying. But you rarely need a higher magnification than this. And now let's do the high magnification like this. Oh yeah, and that's where the backlash is. Since my cable is a little short, it's pulling the device, but that's my problem. Yeah. Okay. So at this magnification, I couldn't use solder sucker. Now my scope is about 4 inches, 10 centimeters from the board, which is roughly the magnification that I get from the other scope. Now, for inspection, especially when I work on the QFN chips for automotive uh, devices like ECMs, it is crucial that I inspect every single connection, every single pin. So oftentimes I need to zoom in and to inspect individual pins. Now with this scope, it's not as easy because I need to physically move it like this and then work with the focus. But you can still do it. Yeah, that's definitely good enough. Let's focus on the pins. Come on, yeah, there is the backlash. There, that should be focused on the pins, yeah. Yeah, so I can do a lot of zoom with it. Now let's go all the way. Side. No, not this way. The other way. Nope. Not this way either. So it needs to go all the way here. Okay. All right. We can't see much because there's not enough light, but this is as far as it goes. Okay. So we can achieve pretty high zoom on this lens. This is probably as, yeah, you probably don't even need a zoom this high. And probably I would have to use a different lens for zooming in this much. Focus. And this is probably the zoom that we need for this job. Yeah, I especially like the light. It's nothing, I don't know, nothing to write home about, but it's such a simple, such a simple device, right? Just two LEDs on those little arms, but it's so practical. It's so valuable to have it because lighting is everything when it comes to working with microscopes, and especially microscopes and cameras, right? For camera, lighting is everything. Now, let's do this. I'm gonna go to full screen over here, and I think I'm gonna be looking at the big screen. The 7-inch is just not big enough. Even 9-inch wouldn't be. 10-inch is the minimum in my view. But let's see how this baby handles. Okay, another consideration. You need a fume extractor somehow, and the stand is going to be in your way. So, yeah, definitely the stand is the only thing about this scope that I don't really appreciate, but luckily that is easily fixed. The most important part is the optics and the camera, the encoder. And that looks awesome. The image, it looked better on this little display. So the image is not breathtaking, but I think it's slightly better than the camera I'm using on my big scope. This is this is good image. I say this is good. Might not be as good as the other scopes. Not too crisp, but it's good enough. So one big consideration of this device is that on my big scope, I can use either the screen, right, the camera, or I can use the actual optics. And optics are always going to be better because I have the real image from um, from the lens. Here, I don't have that option. So the camera is everything on this device. And I say it's good enough. As I said, not breathtaking, but very nice. I think this is everything you need as your first scope. I would definitely recommend this one for as a first scope, because mainly because of the price. Because you don't wanna, if you wanna start a repair business or just do it, as a hobby, you don't wanna invest, thousands of dollars into microscopes, and they can go, in prices once you wanna get everything with the camera, attachments, converters, all that. It can cost you a couple $1,000s to get it all done. It's technically everything that comes here in this box is enough for you to just start working. Maybe you have to play a bit with a stand, like in my case, just turn it around. I could also put it over here, so I have more room to maneuver over here. It is a little short, the arm is a little short, so that probably wouldn't solve all my problems, uh, but definitely improve a little bit. Or I could just unscrew it from this base and screw it to something better. And maybe that's what I will do. But in neither case, everything that you get here, yeah, you can just basically start working. There's not much more than that you need. And as a first scope, because this is technically my third scope. The first one I bought cheap one, like open box condition, I think, and the cheapest version I could, just so I know what I actually need. And that's usually how I operate. I never just do like tons of research and then pick the best device. I pick the cheapest device and I try to work with it. And then after working with it, I know what I actually need. And this one was my second scope, so I already knew what I needed, and it works great. Other than the camera, mm, I'm not too happy about the camera, and I'm not too happy that it's technically biocular. It is advertised as triocular, but the left ocular switches between the camera and the eye, so you can't use both oculars and the camera at the same time. So that is, now I know that. I didn't know that when I was buying it. I thought triocular means that I can use both oculars and the third one is for the camera. Nope. So once you buy this one, then you know what you want, right? And this one, especially for phone repair, this scope I see as a very valuable tool, very good bang for your buck, definitely. Okay, now Oh, see, I, I keep trying to look through the ocular. So it's kind of weird that I got small version of this over here. Um, it's definitely something I would have to get used to. But let's heat up the chip. hmm Definitely feels weird. Yeah, and definitely the screen way too small. Way too small. Another good thing about having the scope lens so far from the board, it's a lot easier to maneuver with other. Normally, you would use the bend nozzle for this, but I don't have one. And bend nozzle allows you to work more comfortably when you have scope on top of it over here. But with this much room that I have over here, it's actually not too bad. Okay. Okay. My hands are extra shaky because this is my second coffee. Now, good morning, Archie. I had no dreams. I guess another good thing of it is that you're working in much more ergonomic position, right? Normally, when I look through the oculars, I'm in this position. It's not good for your back. It's not good for your neck. In this case, I can just lean back like so and work like this. So that's a good thing. Yeah, you just have to get used to it. But it's I can already feel my back feels a lot better when I'm doing it right now. So another great thing about it is, which actually works for me, the pin alignment is much easier to perform on this scope because you're always looking down, straight down. With normal stereoscope, you're looking from two sides at the slight angle, which means you have depth perception, which I don't know, you can see whether the chip is sitting flat, flush on the surface. With this one, you cannot, but you have a vision straight down. So pin alignment is a lot easier on this. So that's a great thing for me because I don't have depth perception. So stereoscope doesn't really work for me, or I don't know, makes no difference to me. So it actually works in my favor, this kind of scope, as opposed to uh, stereoscope, which is great, I bet, for people who have great vision in both eyes. Um, that's not me. From the far, it seemed like there was some bridging here, but it's okay on closer inspection. All right, so this is done. It looks like the chip went a little bit too high up. That's what it seems like to me. But just considering the quality of image of the scope at this magnification, it's not bad. It's not bad at all. The FPS is pretty high, high enough that I don't see any difference between this one and my other camera. The video quality is pretty much the same. So this is something that you would expect from relatively professional setup. It doesn't come with the ring light, but that's easily fixed. Yeah, you can pretty much do all kinds of inspection. And I would say the best part of it is that you can sit comfortably and either use this tiny screen, which I don't, because it's too small. But you can sit comfortably, having your back straight, your neck straight, and do this. This is a great thing about this scope. And the price is right, the video quality is right, the zoom is right. It's a good scope. In conclusion, if you're in need of a microscope for, especially for electronics repair, this is perfectly viable option for you. Especially for phone repair, it's pretty much ready to be used out of the box. I would recommend the 10-inch version, not the 7-inch. I think 7-inch is way too small, or at least for myself. However, even the 7-inch version, you can connect to a big screen. It comes with the cable, comes pretty much with everything you need, and with nice anti-glare light. That's a very nice option. Very good thing to have. For larger electronics, you will probably need to just remove this, throw away this little stand, and use the real stand with an adapter. I'm gonna reach out to JOYALENS and see if they have adapters for these. If not, if you have a 3D printer, that's all you need, and you can print an adapter. Or if you know someone who can turn an element for you in aluminum, that's also that will be even better. But that's only if you want to do much bigger boards, and by much bigger I mean a PlayStation 4 or 5. For laptops, as you can see, most laptops you can probably fit in here, as long as you just kind of turn this around. It's a perfectly viable option. I wish I had a scope like this when I started, because one great thing about it is that it has decent camera, very decent. It's not mind-blowing, it's not breathtaking, but it's very decent. For visual inspection and for basic repairs, the ones that I do, it's very good. This is definitely recommended device, and especially since it's very affordable, this should be your first scope. Not the big ones that you need to pay thousands of dollars for. Start with this one, then you'll know what you need. Okay, fellas, so this is JOYALENS JL246MS 7-inch digital microscope. Very decent device, very good as a first scope for microelectronics repair shops. I hope you found this useful, and thank you guys very much for watching. I'll see you in the next one.